Thank you very much. Crooked Joe's mass amnesty comes in the wake of a series of horrific murders by, I call them the Biden illegals. They come in here so illegally. They just walk across, not vetted, not checked. All over the world they're coming from. The Congo and Africa, 22 people coming out of jails recently. And where are you from? The Congo. Where did you live? In a jail. What did you do? We don't want to say. But they come from Africa, from Asia. They come from the Middle East. They come from South America, but they come from all over the world. And they're really in many cases, very, very bad people. The only good thing is they make our gang members look like nice people by comparison. You know the good thing about Biden's administration, right? He makes Jimmy Carter look like a genius by comparison. Jimmy Carter's administration looked brilliant by comparison. In all fairness, he wasn't doing things like this. He wasn't allowing 17, 18 million people to walk into our country unchecked, unvetted. We have no idea who the hell they are. Day after day, week after week, more Americans are raped, kidnapped, and brutally killed at the hands of criminals. And Joe Biden released them into our country. He released them all. We had, by the way, 4 years ago, I wish they could put it up on the screen, we had the strongest border in the history of our country. Now we have the weakest border in the history of the world. In the history of the world. Oh, there it is. Take a look. That cost a little money to bring that sucker up here. You know, that's... But take a look at that. You see the red arrow on the bottom? That was the week I left office. What a sad day that was for the country. But that was the week I left office. See the red arrow on the bottom? That's the only one you have to even look at. That was the last week in office for Trump. Look at the number. That was the lowest number in the history of our country of illegals coming in. But you can also add drugs and other things, okay? But look at that number. And that was done by Border Patrol. Look at that number. And then look what happens as soon as I leave. Look at the numbers on the right. That's the largest influx of people ever to come to any country. There's never been anything like this. And we don't know where they come from, who they are. We don't have any records. There's no way to check it. You know, they come from some country that nobody ever heard of. They don't keep records, and we don't get their records, and we don't know what we're taking in. But you know one thing. You remember the snake. It's not going to be good, right? It's not going to be good. When you let in a snake, when you let in people that come out of prisons for murder, it's not going to end well. We're going to have a lot of problems, and we're going to get them out. We're going to get them out as fast as we can. We're going to have the largest deportation. We have no choice. Just last week, another Biden migrant was arrested for the savage murder of an innocent American woman. You probably all read about it. In Maryland, Rachel Morin, 37 years old, mother of 5, beautiful woman. Nice woman, everybody loved her. Police believe that this animal was responsible for Rachel's killing, first murdered another young woman in El Salvador, came from El Salvador, murdered a woman, at least one, then fled across this Joe Biden open border. Just come on in, everybody. We won't even check your name. And came into the United States, after which he savagely attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles in an area that was supposed to be safe. And finally, he's charged with raping and murdering Rachel when she was out for a run. She was running, wanted to keep herself in shape before dumping her body into a drainage ditch. That's how they found her, into a drainage ditch. This monster should never have been allowed into our country. And if I was president, he would never have been able to come in. He would have never been able to come in. You see those numbers. Thank you very much. Just like the killer, and you've read about this too, Laken Riley, beautiful Laken Riley, would have never been in our country. Laken was the topper of her class. She wanted to be a nurse. She was the top student, the top everything. She was admired by everybody that knew her. And she was murdered by the same kind of a person that came in here under Biden's there is no policy. They just come in. They just came in. And, you know, I listened to Tom Homan the other day. Tom Homan's great, real real pro. He said there's never been an administration so good on the border and so good generally, but he's a border guy. He's a pure, powerful border guy. He said there's never been an administration like Trump. It's the greatest border, the safest border we've ever had. All these murders that are taking place and all the murders that will take place, you're just seeing the beginning. They're just getting comfortable, you know? They're here for a little while. They're not going to start up. They want to find out. They're just getting comfortable. Now they're having fistfights with cops in the middle of the street. Think of that. In the middle of New York City, they have a guy fist fighting with a cop. I've seen cops shot. I've seen a lot of things. But a fist fight, that's really like crazy. And they're duking it out in the middle of a street. And if that happened to him in his country, they would have had him killed immediately. He would have been killed immediately. But here we're very nice. We're politically correct. Also recently in New York, an illegal alien with mutual and multiple prior arrests approached two 13-year-old children with a machete in broad daylight, forced them into the woods, tied them together by the wrists, and raped the girl at a park in Queens. I grew up in Queens. When I'm reelected, we will begin removing these criminals, these horrible people from our midst, and we'll end up doing it immediately. We're going to do it immediately. We don't really, it's not like we have a choice, right? Do we have a choice? We're not going to live like this. You know, that area in Queens, I said, that's where I grew up. I grew up right near that area. It was unthinkable. My parents, I'd go to the park. It was like 20 blocks away. I'd take a bicycle to ride there. Nobody thought anything was going to happen. I did that for years. Played baseball and different things in the park. And you'd ride and you'd come back home. Mother would say, hi, darling, would you like something to eat? Today, if you let your kid out of the house for 5 minutes, the kid is gone. You never see it's horrible what's going on. We're not living the proper life. This is not appropriate what's happening. Our country is so badly run. And by the way, you know, Kenosha, I saved Kenosha. Do you know that? When I was president, right? Right? I saved it. Kenosha was about ready to go down the tubes, and the governor wouldn't move. He just wouldn't move, and I moved. I'm not supposed to. It's supposed to be the governor who's supposed to do it, the mayor and the governor. But we did a great job, and we saved a lot of different places, and some here. We saved a lot of places. Joe Biden's amnesty is also